Yo, we live up in this. Wait for some more people to get in here. We'll get started. All I gotta say, I could be wrong, honestly, but Enos Cantor, best play of the slate. Way too cheap. Both sites really, but especially on DraftKings, where I think he's only 6.8K. Lock gang, lock mob, let's go. You hit 370 last night? That's sick. Last night, that was the craziest cash line I had ever seen. It was like 330 in cash games. Absurd. I cashed like every single three, man, so that's why I profited so much. I mean, if Cantor is going to get the minutes, you don't really ever have to worry about the production. If he can get the minutes, he's going to blow that. He's going to destroy that price tag. He's like an AK player, so given that discount. And he's performed pretty well versus Drummond in his career in limited minutes. And now that he's playing mid-30s minutes, I mean, you obviously can't really fully trust Fizdale, but once I get in the groove of things, I think his minutes are pretty safe. They're safe until they're not, really. Cantor's never had foul trouble problems against Drummond. Drummond on the other end could have foul trouble against him, so it goes both ways. Conley cash viable? I think so. Kind of. His usage is up to around 28% on the year, but he has a very poor matchup, really slow game. I think, what is the game total? I think it came up to 209. Let me look right now. Vegas odds. Jamal Murray. Yeah, I think Jamal Murray is a great play. See, my favorite player of the day really was Gary Harris, and I was hoping to get more news. I mean, it seemed like him sitting the last game was more precautionary than anything, and which would, if he were to miss, it would give Jamal Murray more minutes, Monte Morris more minutes. Might even trickle down to Trey Lyles if they decide to go bigger, but I like Jamal Murray a good bit in a pace-up spot against the Lakers. Burke or Moutier, in your opinion, cash games? Burke for me. Burke's going to get the minutes more likely than not. Moutier has to really play out of his mind, and that's a real struggle for him, honestly. The thing with Fizz is he is unpredictable. I understand that, but once he starts doing something, he usually sticks with it for a couple of weeks before he switches it up. It's not like it's an everyday thing where he switches it up, so I feel pretty comfortable. The only reason that Vonleh had his minutes ticked down last game was because it was both a blowout and or was it a blowout? He was dealing with foul trouble. There was a reason why he wasn't as good. Any good starts for tonight? I really like LeBron, like Jokic in a pace-up game, even though he struggled last time against the Lakers. But a guy like Jokic, who's so good at passing and running the floor, really gotta like him in games like this. And the Lakers play zero defense, so no one really out there to defend him. Wade or McGruder? Wade's so much of a better player, point per minute, but Magruder's going to be playing big minutes. So I think he's kind of a lock over on FanDuel at 4.9K. He's going to be playing mid-30s minutes with Tyler Johnson and Goran Dragic out. Slack. Let me get these slack. Vonleh and Johnson, good for our lineups. Yeah, I think James Johnson, I think he's going to be playing 30-plus minutes and against the fastest-paced team, probably the worst defensive team in the league. This is a game where he's really going to stack up defensive stats. Gasol or Booker, DK cash? Probably Booker. We got point Booker now, so don't want to miss out on that. The lineup you posted in Slack, let's see if I like it. Yo, I really like that lineup, honestly. I like it a lot. Devin Booker's really sneaky today, I think. I don't think people are going to be playing him. He's a great play. On FanDuel, I think he's kind of a lock just because there's so much value to mess around with, easy to get up to him. But on DraftKings, it's hard for me not to play Jokic and LeBron James. Yeah, Necktie definitely a lock against Atlanta. I agree. 3,200 player on DK. I don't know, man. Restart your lineup. I don't know any players that cheap on a 5-game slate, or at least this one. Sabonis or Jaren Jackson? Sabonis for me. Jaren Jackson with JaMychal Green back, it kind of limits his minutes. Sabonis is without Oladipo, it's pretty much been like a lock for like 30 to 40 fantasy points pretty much every game, if not more. Any news you're waiting on, or are we locked in? I'm locked in. I was going to play Gary Harris, and then if he was ruled out, I was going to pivot to Lonzo Ball, but I didn't really want to get stuck in that situation and having to pivot later when I really like Vonleh anyways. I think Vonleh is going to be under-owned just because of his last game, but he was in foul trouble, and that's the only reason his minutes dipped. I think he's pretty much locked into 32, 34 minutes. Great fantasy point per minute kind of player. Like him a lot. Ibaka or Siakam? I'm pretty much always going to go with Siakam. His minutes are way more secure with Ibaka. Ibaka and Valanciunas strictly play the 5 together, or strictly play the 5, so they split those 48 minutes. Siakam can play 35 minutes at the 4. When they push Kawhi, or they leave Kawhi at the 3, and then OG will just back up Kawhi if Siakam's playing good. Vonleh and Cantor together, yeah, it's fine. I think this game's underrated. I think the Knicks' prices are underrated for what it's worth because I think they're more stable than people think. So that's why I'm on them. Burke or Mudia? Burke, just because I think his minutes are safer. And he's way better. He's a way better player regardless. Mudia can shoot himself off the court, turn the ball over, really get him off the court. I'm not really on Kuzma. Bojan or Trey Burke? Probably Bojan. I really like Bojan today. I think his minutes are extremely safe, and nobody's really talking about him. He's really good for cash. For GPPs, I would go back to Tyreek Evans. His minutes have been very suspect, but he's still scoring more than a point per minute one fantasy point per minute, well over that. So I do like him, but I prefer Bojan. Wade or Evans? Man, that's so close. Wade, I want to say Wade's more secure with minutes, but I'm not sure. Last game was weird. Probably go Wade, though, over Evans. Okay, dude. Carlos Roger. I'll go back and answer your question for you if I can find it. You interested in Tim Hardaway Jr.? Yeah, I think his price is incredibly too cheap on DraftKings. Even on FanDuel, it's a good price. Not really the matchup I like, but him playing with now that Cantor's back in the starting lineup and Burke is playing more minutes, it really brings down his usage. But obviously, it's Tim Hardaway Jr. and he's still going to garner a pretty hefty usage rating. But I think it's a great GPP play for sure, and he's just way too cheap at this point. But yeah, with Cantor and Burke playing a lot more minutes, it really brings his usage down. You think Valanciunas will start versus the Grizzlies? Yes, I think so. I think it's a better matchup versus Gasol rather than Serge. Who are your locks tonight? Really like Cantor, really like James Johnson. Who else do I like? Jokic probably. FanDuel is hard for me deciding, and it sucks because there's so many centers I want to play because I want to play Cantor, I want to play Jokic, and obviously I want to play Drummond, but Drummond was the most expensive out of all of them, and especially on FanDuel where I think Jokic is 1.6K cheaper than Drummond. It's hard for me to go to Drummond in that situation. No, I'm not giving away too much. Leave the rest for my members, of course. Yo, if you're in here and you like this, please, I would appreciate if you gave this a like. Trey Lyles, yeah, I like Lyles, and especially if Gary Harris misses, I think some of the minutes trickle down to him. Obviously, this is like an amazing spot for Trey Lyles. uses athleticism and speed against a fast-paced Lakers team, but I believe are fourth or third in the league in pace. Really like the spot. Take Suns +3 over Indiana. Yeah, I don't mind that. I like the Suns tonight. I like Devin Booker. Grizzlies +6 over Toronto. Grizzlies have been like surprisingly good this year. I mean, it's not that surprising now that Conley's healthy with Gasol, but now JaMychal Green's back. I like that team a good bit. Griffin or Cantor? Cantor for the money. I think Griffin's an all right play, but it's whatever. I'm not trying to fit him in by any means. If he lands in my lineup, then I guess I'll take it. You like Craig tonight for Denver? No. I would only consider him if Gary Harris was ruled out, and this is one of the later games. So if Gary Harris is ruled out, I think he's an all right play. But the fact that this is an island game, Malone has said previously, and he showed it in the games, that when Denver is – if they're on the first game of back-to-back or the second game of back-to-back, he's going to limit the minutes of the starters. But they didn't play yesterday, and they're not playing tomorrow, so that's why I really like Jokic. I think his minutes are – very secure. Jamal Murray's are very secure, and Gary Harris. That's why I'm not sure what he's gonna do. Decides to 2 days off because they're not playing tomorrow either. So I think there's a good chance that he sits, which would be a massive boost to Jamal Murray, who I really like on FanDuel. He has a good price on DraftKings as well, though. Hey, appreciate it, man. Fade LeBron? No, not for me today. There's too much value to fade LeBron, and I think he's just so much better than the other players. And he gets a really massive boost with Rajon off the court, obviously, because he handles the ball more. I like him up quite a bit. Kawhi or Braun for me. That game is disgusting. That Memphis and Toronto game is going to be at a snail's pace. Don't really like it all that much. And both teams are really good defensively. Vegas was right when they opened it at 206. That game opened at 205. It's risen to 209. But in 2018, that's a really, really low scoring game. Really like getting in this Miami value, but really like the Miami value, but it's kind of hard to peg down even with Tyler Johnson and Goran Dragic back. But I like the bigs in James Johnson. I like Adebayo quite a bit, but they all correlate pretty poorly. That's why I like getting like the for sure guys. I think James Johnson, as long as the game stays close, is going to garner some pretty good minutes. And really cheap, really easy for him to pay off that pay tag. Same with Justice Winslow and Wayne Ellington, just way too cheap. I'd rather play those guys than guys like Wade and McGruder on DraftKings, who are like $1,000 more expensive. Asking so many questions but getting no responses, dude. There's so many questions. I'm one person. I'm trying to get to as many as I can and explain myself so you guys can also learn rather than me just giving you an answer. Is Gary Harris playing? I'm not sure right now. Which Indiana guard to use? I like Bogdanovich. I think his minutes are pretty secure with Cantor is going to continue to start. I think Gary Harris, he could play. I'm not sure right now. If he plays, he's one of my favorite players. Kawhi or Leonard. Ha ha. Cantor or Jokic, play both on DraftKings, in my opinion. On FanDuel, it's hard for me. I feel dumb saying it, but I prefer Cantor for the price. Yeah, it sounds like they kept Harris out for precautionary reasons. But, I mean, Malone does his thing, so we'll see what happens. FD favorite 4, probably James Johnson. Do I like James? Oh, that's hard. James Johnson versus Winslow. This pace up spot is so good for both of them. But I think James Johnson's minutes are safer than Winslow's. So that's why I prefer Johnson. Bembry or Winslow? Vonleh or Lonzo? Vonleh for me. LeBron or Kawhi? LeBron. Do you like Collison or Evans? Evans for me. Sabonis, Turner, or Cantor, Kuzma, Tyreek? Probably Cantor and Tyreek for me. I like that. Heat will start Richardson, Ellington, McGruder, James Johnson, Whiteside. I like that. That's good for Winslow. I said it before, when Winslow comes off the bench, because with the point guards and Tyler Johnson and Goran Dragic on the bench, Winslow's going to come off and then start at the point and run the offense. So obviously, if you're the point guard and you have the ball in your hands, you're more likely to score more fantasy points. So I think it's good that he's coming off the bench, and I think his minutes stay relatively the same. I think you can project him for around 28 to 30 minutes, depending on how he plays. And if he plays well, he can get well over 30 points because he can play multiple positions. He can play the point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, even depending on how the game goes. But definitely like Winslow. Miami, the best game stack? Yeah, for sure. It's hard to bring it back against Atlanta because they just suck. Trae Young's pretty awful this year. It's hard to bring them back, but I like getting my cheap exposure to the Miami game. Collison, Drummond, or Burke and Jokic? Burke and Jokic for me. Murray, Turner, or Burke and Cantor? Burke and Cantor. Yeah. Burke or Ellington? Burke. Hardaway, Jokic, or Cantor, Bullock? Hardaway, Jokic. Yeah. Do you like Drummond for cash? Yeah, I think he's a great play for cash. It's just I like Jokic and Cantor about the same, and they're cheaper. That's why. That's the only reason I went there, but I love Drummond tonight. Any thoughts on why Boston's struggling? I think they're just trying to integrate Gordon Hayward in the offense, and they're just – I don't know. They're not clicking right now. It's weird to watch. There's really no reason for it. Joseph or Burke? Burke for me. I meant Hardaway, Cantor, or Bullock and Jokic. Hardaway, Cantor. Lineups or Hawks will start Young, Horder, Prince, Collins, Dedmon. About what you expect. I like Collins. Kind of getting expensive, but I like him as a play. No lineup changes. Knicks are playing good ball right now. That's why I like this game. I think that they're going to keep playing like this because they keep winning. I don't know if they want to win just because of their situation right now. But if they keep winning and they get Porzingis back, they might be able to snag a 7 or 8 seed. Perhaps. It sounds weird, but it's actually in the realm of possibilities, along with the Kings. You like Jokic over Booker? Yeah, I think it's way safer for cash games. But I think Booker is great for GPPs. I think, I like Jokic a lot. I think he's going to be under-owned just because of his recent woes, but he's been dealing with either blowouts or foul trouble, and you just got to look a bit deeper than everything else. Best mid-level play? Probably Cantor. Why Bojan? I think he's in an up-paced game against the Suns where his usage comes up quite a bit just because of Victor Oladipo being out of the lineup. And, he's going to play 30 to 32 minutes, about a point per minute fantasy player. Really solid for cash games. All right. GPP, James Johnson or Thad Young? James Johnson. No, that's close. James Johnson, though, for me. Actually, if it's GPP, Thad Young. Ibaka at 6K, good value. I just hate that game. I'm avoiding that game in pretty much everything. Even in GPP, I don't know how it goes off, but, it definitely could. It's pretty concentrated, especially on the Memphis side with Conley and Gasol. I think they're all right plays in GPPs. If all else fails, that they could do well. Do you never have Griffin in your limes? Do you hate him? No, I don't hate him at all. I think he's been great this year, really, but I think he's just too expensive for what he is. And there's always much better plays around that price range. You play Magruder or Ellington? I prefer Magruder on FanDuel, and I prefer Ellington on DraftKings. Hardaway or Ball in cash? Probably Hardaway. Quite a bit price difference. You like Reggie Jackson on FanDuel cash? Yeah, he's all right. He's played, I believe, over 30 minutes the last 2 games. I mean, if that continues against the Knicks, obviously a great play. Why is Taurean Prince falling off so much? I mean, this guy is either in a blowout, getting foul trouble, or just shooting like shit. So, and they're also fucking with his minutes now. So I don't know. There's a lot of things that could go wrong with him every night. That's why I'm starting to stay away with him. At the beginning of the year, his minutes were stable as long as it wasn't a blowout or foul trouble. But now, yeah, they're toying with his minutes, and if he doesn't play well, so that's why I'm off of him. Burke or Trae Young in FanDuel? Probably Burke. Yeah, I think. Do you personally find it easier to hit on DK than FanDuel, especially in cash games? Any reason? If so, I think. Well, I hit more on DK. I mean, over the course of the season, it's about the same, but DK just because I think it takes more skill. FanDuel, it just made that abysmal change to have the drop the lowest score. It really takes the edge out of it because everyone can just pay up for all these expensive players, and then if their cheap player shits the bed like they should, then you get bailed out by it. It sucks. It takes the skill out of it, and it's made for like fish to play. That's why I like DraftKings more. I like DraftKings like immensely more. John Collins tonight. I like him a lot, but I think the price is kind of creeped up way too much. Ayton or Turner? Ayton. Upside way higher than Turner with Sabonis breathing down his neck. Booker or Jokic? Booker GPP, Jokic cash. Collins does make the Hawks better. I love John Collins as a player. I think he's a great fantasy player. Once he's off this minutes limit and he's consistently playing 32, 34 minutes, I'm willing to pay what his price tag is right now, but they're pretty unstable right now. It's a great GPP play for sure. Ellington or Winslow in cash? That was like my biggest problem today, deciding between that, but I sided with Winslow just because I think it's going to be a pace-up game, and that suits his game a lot more than Ellington. Ellington's a lot better in a slower pace game where he can just shoot spot-up threes, but and I think they're both of their minutes are pretty equally projectable at 28 to 30 minutes. LeBron or Drummond? LeBron for me. Bam Adebayo on DK. I think he's great for GPP. I think last game he got a huge boost in minutes and production because the second unit to close out the game, the last 15, 16 minutes just went absolutely nuts, and the starters never came back in, and that's why Adebayo got so many minutes there. So it's kind of smoke and mirrors right there. Winslow or Burke GPP? Burke. Winslow or Nectat against Atlanta and DK? Probably Winslow. Vonleh or Turner GPP? Vonleh. Young ain't winning Rookie of the Year. That's because it's going to be Doncic, dude. Best rookie by far. Why is Turner so bad at rebounding? I don't know, man. I haven't watched much Indiana this year. Plumlee Murray or Vonleh Burke? Vonleh Burke, yeah. I like the Knicks a good bit today. Ish Smith seems kind of random to me. Good matchup, obviously. I would kind of reserve it for GPPs, really. Reggie Bullock. I think Reggie Bullock is great cash play. Just entirely too cheap for what he is. I look like Doncic. Thanks, man. I don't know if that's a fucking compliment. Vonleh or Jackson Jr. Vonleh for me. Winslow or Bembry? Winslow. Yeah, good luck, man. Burke, Lynn, or Van Fleet? Burke for me. Pretty high on Burke. Ellington or Wade? Ellington for the savings. Winslow and Ellington? Don't mind it. All right, guys. This is where the chat gets off the fucking rails, like right up until lock. Burke or Reggie Jackson? Burke for me. Trae Young? No. I'm not with it. Burke or Bogdan? Bogdan, just because I think his minutes are safer, even though I think Burke has way higher upside. So obviously Bogdan in cash games, and then Burke in GPPs. But I like Burke in cash games anyways. Will Harris play tonight? Oh my God. I don't know, man. I think he will. But he could be limited. Not sure. Yeah, I feel great about tonight, man. Take off your pants for Wayne's wife. Interesting comment. Cantor or Jackson? Cantor. Easy. Yo, yeah, I'll get you right after this. In the lock teams. All right, guys. About to lock. Good luck tonight, as always. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Put out a video for tomorrow. Big Wednesday slate. I think Addy might have another NHL video, so be sure to check those out. All right, man. Peace.